Hello, thanks for joining us. Hello, thanks for joining us. This is Mancunian Matters Live. It's Friday the 9th of December, and here's what's coming up today's show. We've got a paper review with Jess, and we'll also be looking at how she got on when she visited Community Grove in Salford. We also sent Nicole out onto the streets of Manchester aboard a bird bike. She's also been catching up with independent fashion creator Deeble. Emma will also be visiting Lightopia. Carly will be here with the festive telly highlights, and we'll also have a sport roundup to see how England might get on Saturday. Now, the country is facing several train strikes this winter, with at least one walkout a day scheduled between now and Christmas. Workers from different industries are demanding better pay and conditions. It's rail workers, NHS staff, firefighters, delivery drivers, and teachers are all taking action as the cost of living crisis grips the UK. Rail union RMT has rejected the latest offer put forward by the group representing train companies, meaning that a series of 48-hour strikes this month are looking inevitable. And we've been speaking with the RMT General Secretary, Mick Lynch, who was delivering a speech on the new strikes, and here's what he had to say.
Meaning that we'll be taking continuous industrial action for more than 4 weeks. Despite every effort made by our negotiators, it is clear now that the government is directly interfering in our attempts to reach a settlement. We have been reasonable, but it is impossible to find a negotiated settlement when the dead hand of the government is presiding over and blocking a resolution in these talks. The employers are in disarray and saying different things to different people, sometimes at the same time. The whole process has become a farce that only the new Secretary of State can now resolve. And I will be calling on him to act up to his responsibilities this Thursday. In the meantime, our message to the public is we are sorry to inconvenience you, but we urge you to direct your anger and frustration at the government and the railway employers during this latest phase of action. We call upon all trade unionists in Britain to take a stand and fight for better paying conditions in their respective industries. And we will seek to coordinate action, including strike action, where we can. Working people across our class need a pay rise, and we are determined to win that for our members in the RMT. And we will support all other workers in their campaigns and action.
I'm now joined by our correspondent, Jessica Sharkey, for a deep dive into today's newspapers, and everybody has been talking about the Harry and Meghan documentary. We'll get onto that, but first there's some more serious news, isn't there, Jess? What have you picked out for us?
Yeah, so for Manchester News specifically, the Manchester Evening News has reported that thousands of people waited over 12 hours in A&E to be treated. So last month, more than 2,000 people across Greater Manchester were having these longer waiting times. And in October, it was slightly higher as well, so it just seems to not be getting better. Nationally, only 68.9% of people were being treated in the NHS standard time of under 4 hours. So obviously, these waiting times, we've been hearing these stories since the COVID-19 pandemic about how people are waiting longer and longer to be treated in A&E. And we've got strikes coming up, as you mentioned at the start of the show. December 15th and 20th, nursing staff are taking industrial action, and on December 21st, ambulance workers will be. So we can only imagine what effect that will have on the backlog, and ahead of a very tough winter as well.
Yeah, and you know the issue isn't getting any better, is it? And it does, something really does need to be done about it, doesn't it?
Yes, obviously people are striking for their reasons, but these A&E waiting times have been happening for too long and over a year, and the strikes have nothing to do with it really.
Yeah, and another big issue that is here at the moment is strep A. It's a massive issue at the moment, and you've been looking at that as well.
Yes, so in the Times, we've got strep A story, and obviously the COVID-19 pandemic seems to be at the back of everyone's minds at the minute, and there's an even bigger health concern right now, and that's strep A. And 15 children under the age of 15 have died in the last few months, and it's just horrible statistics, horrible news for parents and everyone across the country. And the UK Health Secretary Steve Barclay has raised the alarm. That's how serious this is getting, and parents are panicking naturally, because the worst thing that could happen news, and people are rushing to pharmacies, rushing to doctors, rushing to shops like Boots and picking up antibiotics. And now pharmacists are concerned that they run out, maybe a shortage because of this. Steve Barclay, there's nothing to worry about, but pharmacists are saying otherwise.
Yeah, it does seem like there is a lot to worry about. And is there any way, the signs of strep A and
Blood tests are being made available in Wales, but not in England. So NHS in Wales have funded these lateral flow tests that can tell you if you're suffering from strep A, but England has decided not to fund this. These flow tests, similar to the COVID-19 ones that we saw over the past 2 years, cost £7.50, and in less than 5 minutes you can find out if you've got strep A and if you really do need antibiotics. And obviously the aim of this is to prevent people from over panicking and getting antibiotics when they don't really need them. Unfortunately, this will only be happening in Wales because NHS England have decided not to fund this.
yeah, and it seems like there will be an eventual U-turn on that, and something will have to be done because those tests are needed, aren't they?
Yes, exactly. And if we're running out of antibiotics, that can cause so many other problems. So hopefully it is U-turned.
Yeah, and we've got some more positive medical news now, haven't we?
Yes, we need some more positive medical news this morning. So a new drug to treat breast cancer can halt the spread of tumours, and this is a breakthrough drug. It could shrink tumours and double the amount of time people suffering from breast cancer have with their disease, allowing more time for treatment, allowing more time for intervention. And this new drug could benefit around 8,000 women in the UK every single year, which is huge medical news, and we'll keep you updated on that story.
Yeah, and it's great news to have. And now for something a bit more light-hearted, and obviously it seems like everybody's been talking about Harry and Meghan. It's not as serious as the other stories, but we've got to mention it. We can't not mention it. So what have the Daily Star been saying?
Yes, so as you can see by the newspapers in front of us, it's hard to pick up a newspaper in the shop this morning and not see these two faces on the front cover. The Daily Star have been very vocal about this new documentary, and the headline, "Pair of Shysters," is what they've gone for. And pictures of Meghan and Harry with blacked out eyes, and the story, palace sources were not asked for comments on the Netflix fiasco, and they've said the publicity-shy couple's trashy reality show has sparked a war between Netflix and the royal family. So the Star has certainly put their view across. There's been lots of backlash online about clips of Diana being used. People have said Diana would not have wanted this documentary to be out, she would have found it disrespectful. But this is going to be a big story for the next few weeks, I think.
Yeah, and obviously we love some content from the Daily Star. We had Liz versus the Lettuce, and now we've got a pair of shysters as well. What do you think about the Harry and Meghan documentary? Have you seen it? Are you planning on seeing it? I
have not seen it, but I know it's going to be very, very big news, and there's going to be lots more coming out about it, I think, in the next few weeks.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either, but I know it's been popping up in my family group chat. It's something everybody has been talking about, and we would love you to have your say. We've got a poll out on Twitter asking you whether you love the documentary or hate the documentary, and you can get involved. All the details are on the screen at mmnews_online. So thanks for that, Jess. Thanks for the newspaper review. And it's difficult to review the newspapers and not talk about the cost of living crisis in the UK. It's something that's affecting everybody at the moment massively, and it's something that you've experienced firsthand, isn't it?
Yeah, I actually spoke to 3 generations of one family about this issue and food costs, and they were visiting a community grocery in Salford, and this is what they had to say.
A community grocery in Salford, a lifeline in one of the most deprived areas of the country, where you can get a weekly shop for only £4. Anyone can sign up for £5 a year and grab a shop for the whole family at a fraction of supermarket prices. And this is how much members can fill their basket with every visit, saving £25 to £35 a week. Victory Outreach opened this Salford grocery, and I spoke to Teresa John, the grocery manager.
So we've seen a change over the last 3 to 6 months, I'd say. When we first opened back in 2021, there was quite a big uptake when we first opened. Then it sort of filtered off a bit. So originally it was a lot of people, low-income families, people on benefits and different things. But what we've seen over the last few months is that it's people that are in employment that are really having to stretch the budget. The pandemic separated and isolated people, where people were in their houses, they were on their own, and there was different support and things. But I think now coming out of that and being in a cost of living crisis, but actually being able to connect with one another, we're able to reach people, we're able to support, we're able to pull the community together, and it's anything just to help cut the costs.
Amid a worsening cost of living crisis, more and more people are relying on food banks. I spoke to Vicky, Joan and son Henry, who regularly visit the community grocery.
Well, I wouldn't think about getting fresh fruit and veg from anywhere else, because of the expense and things like that.
That's it, it's a luxury, isn't it, really? But if you come here, you know, you can afford to buy fresh fruit each week. This is my second year of coming, and we've met up, haven't we? And I said, look, you know, times are hard and what have you, and we're both struggling, won't we? And I said, you need to come down here, there's lots and lots, you know, of things. You wouldn't go out and buy yourself chocolate because it's a luxury, but if you go there, chances are you can get chocolate or a biscuit, you know, something you just fancy.